on Montgomery County. There is something that you can do to make sure this does not happen again. Trooper Fountain has not given up on Montgomery County. She goes into the schools and she tries to teach our children, your children, my children, right from wrong. But there's only so much that Angela Fountain can do. Gail Eccles? There's only so much that she can do to teach people right from wrong, and that choices have consequences no matter who you are, no matter who your dad is, no matter who your mom is, and no matter how cute and pretty and young you are. Your choices have consequences. Sergeant Barnhill hasn't given up on Montgomery County. He hasn't given up on our children. He hasn't given up on you. When he goes out there every single day to make the streets safer for you, to make sure this doesn't happen to anybody again. Corporal Chapman, when he investigates fatal crash after fatal crash after fatal crash, so that he can bring evidence to you to make sure it doesn't happen again, when he climbs up 40 feet in the air so that you can see what she did to 3 innocent victims on June 29th of 2012. He hasn't given up. Andrew hasn't given up. We're going to keep going out to these scenes whenever they happen because we care about our community and we think that we can make a difference. And now it's your turn to make a difference in your community by sending her and sending them and their kids and everybody else at Oak Ridge North High School, at Woodlands, at Conroe, and Caney Creek a message that you may be a nice person, you may come from a good family, but if you do something and you show that you just don't care about your consequences and what happened, we will hold you accountable. That's the best thing that you guys can do today. Because don't you know that all those folks and friends of hers that came in here and testified, and their friends are watching them and watching this case and watching you. That's where it's going to make a difference. That's the good that you can do in Montgomery County. We hope that you have not given up on Montgomery County and our streets and our kids. These folks here have not given up on Montgomery County. What's it worth to them? What does it mean to these people sitting right here, day in and day out? They've been dealing with this now for 13 months. And now it's your chance to let them know that you haven't given up on them, to give them some closure, to give them some immeasurable piece of satisfaction to know that you hold her accountable for her actions, because choices have consequences. What's it worth to Mr. Adams, a father who has to get up here and talk about the death of his little girl, who had a bright, promising future? I've got 2 girls. Many of y'all have kids. What's it like for a father to have to get up here and break down and tell you about how she affected him? What's that worth? What's it worth for a mother to get up here and talk about her son that they can't visit anymore. They can't drive a few miles and go and talk to her or talk to them. That's over. She gave them a life sentence of death on June 29th of 2012. For what? Just because she wanted to have some fun. That's what this whole case is about. And David, his life is never going to be the same. He got a life sentence too, just because she wanted to have some fun. What's that worth? This case isn't only about what you saw here in the courtroom today, yesterday, this entire week. It's not only about her, it's her trial, but it's about her conduct. It's about her actions that she did. It's about somebody drinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 drinks at minimum. That wasn't an accident. She didn't accidentally drink 21 alcoholic beverages. She did that intentionally. She didn't accidentally get into that car and drive. She did that intentionally. Many people, in fact, the defense attorney spoke about it just being an accident. Yes, it was an accident. We know that Nichol Baukus did not intend to kill somebody. She's already getting credit for that because she's not charged with murder. She's charged with intoxication manslaughter. The punishment range for an accident is 2 to 20 years in prison. And you've got a wide range to consider in this case because there's a wide range of conduct in these sorts of cases that might make one worth a little bit less and another one worth a little bit more. So don't go back there like they want you to do and say it's just an accident. Because to these folks, it's not just an accident. To these folks, it's a tragedy. It's about her laughing. Remember how many people came in here and testified about her laughing as she's sitting on the ground with her sore foot, looking at the carnage and the destruction that she caused, and she's laughing. And that disturbed paramedics, hardened police officers, and an ER doctor who just couldn't believe it, just like I'm sure you can't believe it, that somebody would laugh after all that. We just can't fathom that sort of a personality. We don't want to believe that sort of stuff is out there. But it is. That's why we brought you the seemingly innocuous evidence of what was on her phone. And you can look through all of it. How much stuff is there about her and what she cares about? Alcohol, drugs, marijuana, partying. That's what sort of a person she is. For the longest time, in fact, I think even today, when she got up and testified, she is still looking to blame other people. She wants to blame the bar. She wants to blame the waitress.
Judge, she said nothing about blaming the bar.
Overruled. I'm going to ask the jury why the evidence is proved this case.
That's outside the evidence.
The doorman, everybody. In fact, it wasn't her driving that vehicle at first. She had enough snap to think, to tell the police officers, I wasn't driving, it was somebody else. That's kind of important, folks, because she wants you to believe she can't remember a thing. But she had enough snap on June 29th to tell the first police officers on the scene, I wasn't driving, it wasn't me. But you know, she called a buddy and said she pulled over, thrown up on the side of the road. She had enough snap to think about that. She had enough snap to start building her defense right away with the first police officers on the street. Did she know that she was driving the wrong way on Interstate 45? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe she thought she was on 2920 like Todd Schmaltz testified about. That's how drunk she got. But she knew. She was smart. And then, the next thing, to try to prevent you from knowing what she's really like and what her lifestyle really was like, that somewhat innocuous jail call, where they tried to destroy her Facebook so that y'all can't see it. That's pretty smart. But that's wrong. And luckily, we got that phone back and we brought you some of that evidence. Also, we know she's crying. We know she's upset. And she's probably sorry what she's done for them. I agree with that. But you know what? She never, ever apologized to them. None of their witnesses ever said, I'm sorry to them. Nothing. Their tears were about Nichol, not about these people. That's also important when you consider what sort of a sentence to give to her. Her family, I don't know them. They don't know me. I'm sure that they are nice people. But that's not what it's about. When you consider a sentence in this case, that's one of the things that you need to consider. These are the same people that let her go on and on and on with this destructive lifestyle. That's who she's going to go back to if you give her a short sentence or a probation. And I know that they care about her, and I know that they love her. But there have got to be consequences for her actions, and she has to be held accountable. Her friends that came in here and testified one after the other. These were the exact same people she was hanging out with on June 29th of 2012, on June 28th of 2012, and every other time. That's the crowd she runs with. These are her buds. And the one person that really didn't know her, the waitress, who said on her 21st birthday, no, she was stone cold sober, didn't want any drinks at all. Really? And then their next witness comes in and says she was trashed on her 21st birthday. They're telling the truth. They love Nichol, whatever. That's what a good friend would do for her. But these are the sorts of people that you're going to be putting her back out on the street with. That is not a good support group for her. Now, it's kind of curious. Don't you know that if her job and co-workers and the people at the church that she belongs to and all of those folks had so many good things to say about her, they would have been brought down in front of you so that you could have listened to them and how she's tried to rehabilitate herself? You heard from our experts about what a .30 means. If you don't drink very much, or if you don't have a problem, or if you're not an habitual drinker, you pretty much can't get to a .30 and function like she did. The evidence supports that she's got a problem. Have we heard anything about that? That she's trying to address this? No, we haven't. So you might feel sorry for them, and that's natural. I feel sorry for her, for them, especially for these folks. But that's not what you're here for. It's natural to feel sorry for everybody. When this whole thing is finished, nobody's going to be happy. You can't make people happy. They're not going to be happy. Never. Again, because of this. These guys are not going to be happy because of what you do. They're not going to be happy. It's not about making people happy. It's about making people responsible for their actions and their conduct. And it's about sending a message to those people, to these people, and to all of our kids out there on the road at any given time of the day or night. You know, in Montgomery County, because of the evidence, how big of a problem we have in Montgomery County because of drunk drivers. And we do all we can. We work 40-hour weeks, and then we work on the weekends too. We go out on the streets with these guys for you. The judges work, reviewing warrants and everything else to make our community safe for you. You can do that. You can be a part of that by sending her the message that actions have consequences. Nobody's coming back. Your verdict isn't going to bring anybody back either. Travis is gone forever. Nicole Adams is gone forever. And your verdict is not going to bring her back. But your verdict is going to mean, hopefully, that they did not die in vain. That their deaths mean nothing. You know what these people want. They need some closure. Give it to them. You know that you can make a difference in our community with our young people by sending a message. And a message of 5, 10 years probation. What do you think that message would send to people out there tonight, Friday night, going to places like On the Rocks and Bikinis and Rebels and wherever? Wow, she killed 2 people and she got 10 years probation. What sort of a message do you think that's going to send to our community? Let alone to them. I don't think you'll do it. I'm pretty confident you won't. But this case is about what's appropriate and what's to send a message. You know how this case, how she has impacted everybody. And when we started, almost all of y'all raised your hand and said, I remember this case, but I want to hear the facts, and I promise you that I will base my decision on the facts as I hear them in here. Not what I heard from the media, but in here. Well, now you've heard them. And I'm pretty confident that for every single one of you, the facts that you've heard in this week of trial are something that you just didn't even envision hearing in this sort of a case. But there it is, and you know why we're here? Because of her. All because she wanted to have a little fun and drink. She didn't care about anybody but herself. So when you go back there, I want you to think about how you can make a small difference for these people. I want you to think how you can tell these police officers, thank you for what you did. How you can tell the TABC agents, please don't let this happen again. And how you can tell her and every other kid out there that wants to go out and party tonight, you better think twice, folks, because in Montgomery County, we don't put up with that. And that's your job. That's what we want you to do. A 15 to 20-year sentence is appropriate for this case because of all the aggravating circumstances that you've heard. Marijuana smoking, drug taking, drug dealing, .30, driving the wrong way, 2 deaths, 1 serious bodily injury, trying to blame it on other people, even today, trying to blame it on other people and not accept responsibility. That is worth 15 to 20 years in prison for this offense. Now, she may be out even on a 15-year sentence in as little as 7.5 years. Maybe,
Objection,
maybe
Judge.
not.
He just violated your
Overruled.
Your charge.
He's staying within the charge.
They're not to consider that, how it's applied, Judge.
The charge tells you that your sentence, she'll have to serve at least 50% of that. So if you give her 15 years, hypothetically, she may be out when she's 30. She may not be, which is what the charge tells you, or she may be. You can't consider that. But even on a 20-year sentence, she may be hypothetically out in as little as 10. They can go and visit her every day if they want to and see her and talk with her and be with her. Might be a little bit inconvenient for them for the next 10 years if you give them a 20-year sentence. But when you go back there for those 10 years, I want you to think about how that father and that father and that mother and that mother and that family, what are they going to go through for the next 10 to 20 years? Are they ever going to be the same? And are they ever going to see their little children again? No. Because Nichol Baukus destroyed by driving over 2 wonderful, beautiful people. And we have to bring those horrible pictures in here for you so that you can see what she's responsible for. Because this case didn't happen in a vacuum. It's real. And now the results and the consequences and the choices are real. They're never going to get to see their 2 little kids again. You can send them, and through the media, everybody else, a message that you better not do it in Montgomery County because we don't tolerate it. And that's the message we want you to send, because you can make a difference in your community. We haven't given up, and we don't think that you've given up either. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the juror. We'll knock on the door when we reach the break. Randall Williams is going to go with one of my bailiffs, okay? You're going to wait my foyer. We're going to recess.
All rise.